Hi everyone, I'm Meenakshi and I welcome you all to Tathastu. Our today's topic is millets, which is India's ancient superfood. So, as we know that United Nations has declared 2023 as International Year of Millets. Apart from that, it is important for us because at the recently concluded G20 summit, India tried to push towards this sustainable and healthy food options, which are our millets. So millets, apart from being this sustainable and healthy food option, they are these climate resilient crops. As we know, India is taking a front seat in mitigating the impact of climate change. So we are also trying to adopt sustainable practices even in terms of agriculture. So these millets are climate resilient crops. We will be learning about it, and as well as these are very healthy and nutritious crops. So we know that these days there are many people who face the issue of this obesity. At a young age they are diagnosed with diabetes, so there we need a lifestyle change. The millets can contribute towards those lifestyle changes. So in this video we will be learning about how it is a climate resilient crops and the many benefits of the millets and India's role in contributing towards promoting these millets as at international levels. So before that, these are the courses which are offered by Tathastu ICS for all of you. They are MSLV, which specifically targets your mains examination. Then we have NCERT module, you can register for it. Then we have PSLV, which will target your prelims examination, and it will be launching very soon. Then we have philosophy optional, and the new batch will be starting on 15th of September. You can also inquire about these courses on these phone numbers and visit the office as well for inquiries. And if you want some other information, then you can check the website of Tathastu ICS. Now let's begin our video, which is about millets and why millets matter, why are they important for all of us. Also, these millets, they are not very new. Nowadays we when the youngsters are adopting healthy dietary practices, so they try to consume the food which are made up of millet, this jowar, ragi, bajra, but they are not very new. We have grown these crops since ancient time. These millets have this historical context because Megasthenes, who visited India around 2300 years ago, and he wrote an account which was known as Indica, and basically we know it as Megasthenes Indica more popularly. So when he visited India, his records show that millets were one of the main crops which was grown in ancient India, and it was very popular among the masses at that time because it has this nutritious value, this sattvic bhojan which we say. So at that time also, during that ancient times also, in ancient India, these millets were very popular as the nutritious food, as the super food. So these millets have historical context. They have been grown in India, cultivated in India since ancient times. Now, what are millets? We are saying again and again that millets are very nutritious, they are climate resilient, but what exactly are millets? So let's see. Millet is a common term to categorize. These are small seeded grass which are often termed nutri cereals or dryland cereals. Okay, dryland cereal, we will understand why they are called dryland cereals. Now you can just analyze that these are climate resilient crops. That means they don't require much water. They can be grown in these dryland and arid areas. That is why they are also known as these dryland cereals. And these are our millets, popular crops which are classified as millets. So these are sorghum, which is jowar, pearl millet is our bajra, then we have finger millet, which is ragi, then we have this little millet which is known as kutki, foxtail millet, cocoon, proso millet, china, barnyard millet, which is sawa, kodo millet, kodon. So these are the crops which are classified as millets. You can see, and nowadays we have these popular chips. We have these popular food that this particular chip is made up of bajra, this particular chip is chips is made up of ragi. So we are the youngsters are shifting, you know, towards healthy dietary practices, and millet is contributing efficiently to them. So they are basically these small seeded grasses, and they are often termed as nutri cereals or dry grain cereals because they don't require much water. They can be grown in these semi-arid areas as well. That is why they are these climate resilient crops. Now moving towards, these are the stapled crops adapted to dryland. As I said, they can be grown in these dryland areas, agroecologies of arid and semi-arid tropics. So these crops are very, you know, farmer friendly also. They don't require much water, they don't require much resources for it. That is one of the reason why India is trying to push millets. So these can be grown in arid and semi-arid tropics. In India, millets are produced in most of the states categorized by low to moderate precipitation, so that farmers don't have this tension, they don't have this stress about precipitation, about rainfall. If the rain doesn't come, their crops will be damaged. So these are the crops. These are also farmer friendly crops because they can be grown in low to moderate rainfall areas as well as the semi-arid and arid tropics. So I hope the differentiation, what are millets, this is clear to you. The definition is clear to you. Now moving towards the historical context. So after post-independence period, these crops were basically orphaned because we have seen that these crops have been cultivated since ancient India, but during this post-independence period, to achieve food security through this green revolution, these crops were orphaned because before independence they contributed around 40% of the total cultivated grain, but after this green revolution they were sidelined and they just came down to just 20% of total cultivated grain. And now India is again trying to push the cultivation of millet. So they have this historical context. There was a shift away from millets during the post independence in India, and the reason was to achieve food security, to grow this rice and wheat, which are considered our staple food crops. So to achieve this food security, these millets were basically sidelined or orphaned at that time, but now we are changing it because times are changing, climate is changing. We have to change, we have to adopt practices which are sustainable in nature, which are sustainable to environment. So during this post-independence period, due to green revolution which focused on high yielding wheat and rice varieties, these crops were basically sidelined for some time because I've said that before green revolution we have this 40%, these millets contributed to 40% of total cultivated grains, and after that they just came down to 20%. They came down to 20%. Now the historical context explains why millets were overlooked for a period. To achieve food security is the reason why they were overlooked, if we have to sum up in one line. Now regarding the challenge, why we are moving towards this again, there have been certain challenges. Green revolution had its own benefit, it helped us achieve this food security, but now it has its own challenges as well. Things have their pros as well as cons. So what are the challenges of green revolution? The green revolution led to significant agricultural changes in India. Yes, we achieved food security, but also brought challenges, because a thing, it will have its pros, it will have its benefit, it will also have its disadvantages as well. So what are the disadvantages? This particular thing required lots of chemical pesticides, fertilizers. So there was this soil degradation, the poor nutrient, it contributed towards the soil degradation, poor nutrient quality of soil. Then water pollution also. These crops, specifically rice or paddy, requires a lot of water. It is very water intensive crop. So water pollution and this water scarcity as well, it cannot be grown in these semi-arid areas. And then regional economic disparities, because it helps prominently these northern states. This targeted these are northern states predominantly, so it also led to these regional economic disparities. So these were the challenges of the Green Revolution, because you know, these crops, these staple crops, they require a lot of water. So the areas which have this water scarcity, they can't grow this crop that much. That is the reason why it led to these regional economic disparities. And now these issues contribute to argument for revisiting millets as a sustainable alternative, because if you know, millet can be grown in any area, it doesn't require much water. So definitely it will help us to disappear this regional economic disparity. So these are the few benefits of growing millets or moving towards millet cultivation as well. Now talking about G20 summit and millet, the present scenario. If we talk about the present scenario, these were our historical context now, and the reason why we are moving towards millet cultivation again. So in G20 summit and millets, the G20 summit hosted by India in 2023 had a theme focused on promoting millets. As I said, that we have been promoting millets as a sustainable and healthy food options. Yes, because we also need some lifestyle changes, so we are promoting it as a sustainable and healthy food option, and it demonstrates a contemporary effort to revive cultivation and consumption of millet. So we are again moving towards this cultivation and consumption. Cultivation because it is sustainable, consumption because it is nutritious. It will provide us with good health. Now there are these nutrient rich superfoods. Millets we have seen, which is sorghum, is our jowar. Then we have pearl millet, which is our bajra. We have finger millet, which is our ragi. They are described as nutrient rich superfood with various health benefits. They have these various health benefits. How? They are rich in protein, they are rich in carbohydrates, they are rich in iron, they are rich in calcium, they are rich in polyphenols. That means they are nutritious. They have been termed as superfoods. That means they are almost rich in everything our body requires. They are rich in protein, iron, calcium, polyphenols, and they have these low glycemic index, and which make them a valuable dietary choice because they are so rich in nutrients. That is why there is a shift towards the consumption of millets. Now moving to next page, we have these health benefits. Consuming millets can help address iron deficiency, a common public health concern in India. So this iron deficiency, anemia, is a common public health concern. So these millets can help to address this issue. Now it also highlights the overall health benefits of incorporating millets into diet, because we have, you know, the youngsters at a very young age are being diagnosed with diabetes, obesity. The multiple people are facing the issue of obesity. So they by incorporating these millets into diet, we can fight with these causes easily. Now if we talk about the Indian scenario right now, so India produces all the 9 commonly known millets. So we produce almost all 9 commonly known millets, and we are the largest producer. This is one of the reasons why India is pushing this particular thing, pushing this cultivation of millets, because we are the largest producer and 5th largest exporter of millets in the world, and most of the states in India grow one or more millet crop species. So this is one of the reasons why India is taking an initiative in this, because we are the largest producer and 5th largest exporter. You can see over here, these are the regions which produce this, and we stand over here. India, we produce almost 20% right now of total global production. If we talk about the global scenario, global production, and we are producing almost all 9 commonly known millets. Now moving, okay, so this is the one of the initiative. Although India, on the behest of India only, it was United Nations in 2021 declared 2023 as International Year of Millets. Apart from these initiatives at international level, India is also trying initiating other initiatives at national level. For example, increasing the MSPs for these crops, increasing MSP for the millet. So this is the graph how India is increasing the MSP. This is for bajra, this is for jowar. if we talk about 2017, it stand at this, and now moving towards 2022, 2023, it has almost reached to around 3000 in jowar. And if we talk about this bajra, this is government data, how they are promoting or increasing the MSP on these particular crops to enhance their cultivation. And right now, if we talk about 2022, the MSP for bajra stands at 2350 per quintal, and in 2017 it was only 1425. So you can see how it has significantly increased in every year, so that the cultivation can be enhanced, the agriculture can be sustainable. Now moving towards the environmental benefits of these crops, millets are recognized as climate resilient crops that can withstand changing climate conditions, and these crops have this low carbon and water footprint because they require very less water. We have seen it in the beginning of the video only, that these crops can be grown in semi-arid and arid regions as well. This will also help us to, you know, fight this regional economic disparities issue. So these are very environment friendly, climate resilient crops, and it required, because one of the reasons for promoting this is first this, that India is the largest producer, and apart from that, India is taking this front seat in mitigating climate change effects. So that is why India is also trying to adopt sustainable practices in every terms so that it can reduce this carbon footprint and achieve the target of net zero carbon emissions by 2070. So we have this target of achieving net zero carbon emission by 2070. Now these crops require few resources compared to traditional crops, which are our staple food crops, rice and wheat. So these crops don't require much these chemical fertilizers, so that our one of the benefit is that soil quality will also be maintained, that these crops don't require much fertilizer, much pesticide, they do not attract much pest, so they are very, you know, safe in that area, that they don't require much fertilizer or pesticides. And if compared to these are staple food crops, they require very few resources, which makes them a sustainable choice in agriculture. Because if we talk about their carbon footprint, it is also less. If we talk about their water, that these are not very water intensive crop, and if we talk about these chemical fertilizers and pesticides, so they don't require them. Now if we talk about India's role, India is highlighted as largest global producer. So we are the largest global producer of millets, and nearly 20% of the global production is done on our behalf only. The promotion of millet aligns with our agricultural interest as well as food security goals, because at the time post-independent period we tried to achieve this food security through green revolution, but now it have its own challenges. So now by promoting millets also, because we are moving toward healthy dietary practices as well, and we are largest producer in these healthy nutritious superfoods, so that means we can also achieve food security goals and become largest exporter as well, because if we will enhance the cultivation, we can bring more agricultural area, cultivating area under these crops, and we can also take an advantage and become the largest exporter of millets as well as achieve this food security. Now if we talk about international recognition, yes, on India's behest only 2023 has been declared as the International Year of Millets, and Government of India in 2018 celebrated the National Year of Millets, and in 2021 United Nations declared 2023 as International Year of Millets. So I hope you found the session very helpful, and if you find it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.